I drive for a rideshare app on weekends. Most nights are completely normal. You pick someone up, drive them where they need to go, and that's it. But one ride last year made me quit driving after midnight entirely. It started around 12:20 a.m. I accepted a pickup request from a neighborhood on the edge of town. The account only had one letter as the name, K. No profile picture, no rating. That was already unusual. When I arrived, the street was empty. No cars, no people, nothing. I waited for about 30 seconds before the back passenger door suddenly opened. I hadn't seen anyone approach the vehicle. 1 second, the street was empty. The next second, someone was sitting behind me. The passenger was a man wearing a black jacket and a dark baseball cap. His face was mostly hidden. I asked if he was heading to the destination shown in the app. He didn't answer, not even a nod. I figured he just didn't want to talk, so I started driving. About 5 minutes later, my phone vibrated. A message from the passenger. Don't stop the car. I looked in the mirror. The man hadn't moved. His head was pointed toward the floor. I ignored it. Then another message appeared. No matter what happens, keep driving. At that point, I started feeling uncomfortable. If he wanted to say something, why not just talk? I checked the mirror again. Both of his hands were resting on his knees, nowhere near a phone. A few seconds later, another message appeared. Do not let him inside. I immediately felt my stomach tighten. I typed back, "What are you talking about?" The reply came almost instantly. Look behind the gas station. I glanced up. There was a gas station coming up on the right side of the road. The building was closed. Only a few lights were still on. As I passed it, I looked toward the side of the building. Someone was standing there, completely still, watching the road. I only saw him for a second. But what bothered me was how close he was to the street, almost like he'd been waiting for a car. I looked back at the passenger, still motionless. My phone buzzed again. He saw us. I felt a chill run through my body. I typed, "Who saw us?" No response. For almost a minute, nothing happened. Then my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered, using the car speakers. A man's voice immediately said, "Listen carefully." The voice sounded terrified, breathing heavily, almost whispering, "Do not finish that ride." I thought it was a prank. The man replied, "I'm the driver who accepted that passenger before you." That got my attention immediately. "What are you talking about?" "I picked him up tonight, 20 minutes ago." I looked at the mirror. The passenger hadn't moved. The voice continued, "I dropped him off." I felt confused. "If you dropped him off, how is he in my car?" The man was silent for a second. Then he said something I'll never forget. "Because that's not the person I picked up." I laughed nervously. The caller didn't. He sounded genuinely scared. "I picked up a woman." My hands tightened around the steering wheel. "What?" "The account belongs to a woman." I looked at the app. For the first time, I opened the passenger details. The account photo suddenly loaded. A young woman, not the man sitting behind me. I almost swerved off the road. The caller continued. "After I dropped her off, she called me." I asked why. His answer made my heart start pounding. "She said someone got into my car after she left." The road ahead suddenly felt much darker. I looked in the rearview mirror. The passenger was now staring directly at me. I hadn't seen him lift his head. I hadn't seen him move. But he was looking right at me. The first time I'd seen his face, and he was smiling. Not a normal smile. A wide, unnatural grin. My phone buzzed again. A new message from the account. "He knows." At that exact moment, the passenger spoke for the first time. His voice was calm, almost friendly. "Who are you talking to?" I nearly dropped my phone. I didn't answer. The passenger laughed quietly, then said, "You're almost there." I looked at the map. The destination had changed again. The route now ended in the middle of nowhere. No buildings, no roads, just empty land outside the city. I immediately decided I wasn't going there. I turned toward the nearest police station instead. The passenger noticed. His smile disappeared. "That's not the way." I ignored him. The police station was only 5 minutes away. For the next minute, nobody spoke. Then I heard movement behind me. The sound of the rear door unlocking. I looked in the mirror. The passenger was reaching for the handle. The car was moving at nearly 50 miles per hour. I shouted at him to stop. He just smiled again. Then he opened the door and stepped out. While the car was still moving, I slammed on the brakes. The vehicle skittered across the road. When I looked back, the road was empty. No body, no injured man, nothing. I drove straight to the police station. They searched the area where it happened. Nobody was found. No reports, no witnesses, nothing. The next morning I checked the app. The trip had disappeared completely. No passenger, no payment, no record that the ride had ever happened. A week later, I received an email from the company. It said another driver had reported suspicious activity involving the same account. The account name was K. The attached photo showed the account owner, a woman who had been reported missing 3 years earlier. And according to the report, she was last seen getting into a rideshare vehicle. I wasn't expecting any package that day. That's why I immediately knew something was wrong when I found a large cardboard box sitting outside my apartment door. There was a shipping label, my address, my apartment number. Everything was correct, except for the name. I had never heard of the person it was addressed to. At first, I assumed it was a delivery mistake. That happens all the time. I brought the package inside and planned to return it the next day. But when I picked it up, I noticed something strange. It was much heavier than it looked, and there was no company logo anywhere on the box. No Amazon, no FedEx, no UPS, just plain brown cardboard. I set it in the corner of my living room and forgot about it for a few hours. Around Sawajodan, my phone rang. Unknown number, I answered. A man immediately asked, "Did you receive a package today?" I assumed he was the sender. I told him the package had been delivered to the wrong person. There was a long pause. Then he asked, "What apartment are you in?" Something about the way he said it made me uncomfortable. I told him I wasn't giving out personal information. The call ended instantly. No goodbye. Nothing. I remember staring at my phone for a few seconds afterward. The entire conversation felt weird. About an hour later, someone knocked on my apartment door. 3 slow knocks. I looked through the peephole. Nobody was there. The hallway was empty. I opened the door. Anyway, nothing. Then I looked down. A small piece of paper was lying on the floor, folded in half. I picked it up. There were only 4 words written inside. "That is not yours." I laughed nervously. At that point, I still thought someone was playing a prank. I crumpled up the note and went back inside. But I started noticing things. Every 30 or 40 minutes, I'd hear footsteps stop outside my apartment. Not walking past, stopping, as if someone was standing right outside the door, listening. Near midnight, curiosity got the better of me. I decided to open the package. There was no tape, no shipping invoice, nothing, just the box. Inside was another box, smaller, wrapped in black plastic. My stomach immediately dropped, because hidden between the layers of plastic was a cell phone, an old smartphone, still powered on. The screen suddenly lit up by itself. One unread message. I opened it. The message simply said, "If you're reading this, they delivered it to the wrong address." I felt a chill run through my body. There were dozens of other messages, all from the same contact. Most of them were deleted. Only a few remained. One read, "They're watching the building." Another said, "Don't trust anyone who comes to the door." Then the newest message arrived while I was holding the phone. "Are they outside your apartment too?" My heart started racing at that exact moment. 3 knocks echoed from the front door. Slow, heavy, deliberate. I nearly dropped the phone. Another message appeared. "Don't answer it." I backed away from the door. The knocking continued. 3 knocks. Pause. 3 more knocks. I called the police. They said an officer would come check the building. 20 minutes later, 2 officers arrived. I explained everything. The package, the notes, the phone. One officer opened the box. The other checked the hallway cameras. A few minutes later, he came back looking confused. He asked me something I'll never forget. "Who carried the package into your apartment?" I told him I did. He turned the monitor toward me. Security footage. There was my hallway, my apartment door, but nobody ever delivered a package. The box wasn't there. Then, suddenly, between one frame and the next, the package appeared outside my door. No delivery driver, no person, nothing, just an empty hallway. Then a box. The officer replayed it 3 times. Same result. I felt sick. The second officer walked over holding the phone from inside the package. His face looked pale. He asked me where I got it. I pointed at the box. The officer slowly turned the screen toward us. A new message had appeared, sent only seconds earlier. It read, "They're inside now." Every officer in the apartment immediately checked every room. Closets, bathroom, bedroom, kitchen. Nothing. Nobody was there. The police eventually took the phone and the package as evidence. They told me not to worry. Probably a prank. Probably edited footage. Probably someone trying to scare residents. That's what I tried telling myself too. Until 2 weeks later, I was moving out of the apartment. While cleaning the bedroom closet, I found something taped to the back wall. A small folded note, yellowed with age, like it had been hidden there for years. Written on it were 6 words. "The package finally found you.